Hello everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie Schwa and welcome to Free Five Friday. Today we're going to be doing some faux vintage documents. This is a document, this is just a plain piece of copy paper. I made an envelope with it, coffee dyed it. Actually I run it through my printer first, printed this on it. Then coffee dyed the whole sheet of paper and then folded it up. Made an envelope that is cut on the end, and I used my decal cutter and double dipped it a little bit. So that is an envelope. This is just a receipt in French, I believe. I also cut it with my decal cutter and just coffee dyed it. This is another one in French, another receipt, I believe, or a bill of sale possibly. And it's just a piece of copy paper that I printed and dyed. So what we're going to be doing today is handwriting samples that I printed, and they're on the blog. I'll put a link to the particular blog. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my tear ruler, I think, and tear these and give them a rough edge. And then I'm going to use my coffee ink and spray them, as opposed to these. I dumped those in a coffee water bath. So let me get my homemade tear ruler right here. So let's sort of line this up. So let's work on this one a second. And just give it a rough edge. There's several of these handwriting files available online. Some of them I have in the blog and some I have not uploaded. So there's one. And let's do, this one's going to be a little harder to tear, but persistence usually pays off, I'm told. Okay. And I could have printed them a little bit smaller too, but I printed them as big as I could to get 3 of them on a piece of copy paper, or 8x11 paper. And then let's go one down the middle, sorta, kinda. Alright, so I have all my rulers stored in a huge tin can, so that's why it's so noisy. Alright, so I'm going to put you on pause for just a second while I bring in my little tub that I'm going to spray these in. So I will be right back. Okay, I've got my little tub set up. You can see I didn't clean it from the last time I used it. So what I have is I have this teacup that's got this little broken piece, and I decided I would retire it from my tea drinking. And I have this little tiny tray, and I'm going to spray some ink in it. First of all, just enough to put a little bit on the bottom. I'm going to put my cup in there, and I'm going to stick a few coffee cup marks on the paper, just to get it started, because whatever goes on first is going to be darker than what you put on after. So there's a couple of those, so we'll put that to the side. And then I'm just going to take my coffee ink, that's my homemade coffee ink, and I'll link that at the end of the video, so you can see how to make it. And I'm going to turn this over, give it a little bit on the other side. And I guess I need to learn how to do this with my left hand. Okay, grab my, I really need to put some more in this. This is just 90% alcohol that I'm putting on top of it. So I'm going to put you on pause again while this dries, and then when it's dry, I'll come back and show you the finished result. Okay, so this is what they look like after they're dried. They do look a little different than the original ones, but it's a whole different process. This is alcohol, and this is just plain coffee with some baking soda in it. So what I like to do, I like to give it a little extra around the edges. So what I'm going to do is bring a little bin back in, and I'm in front of a window, and I'm going to try to prop it up like this just a little bit. And what I like to do is just take the edges and just dunk them in a little bit like that. It just helps darken them up a little bit. And then I'll put these over to the side to dry while I do the other ones. And as you can see, they're quite a bit darker because the dry paper, because I just ironed this, and the paper fibers, when they're warm like that, they will really draw up whatever the liquid is. And I just like the look of those darker edges. Now, the next thing I'm going to do before I actually dry these again, I'm going to do my coffee cup thing one more time, because it did get lost a little bit. So I'm just going to give it a couple of little things like that. Let me get the other ones. And I actually use these to just soak up a little bit of extra, because with actual vintage stuff, the stains are all over and different. So It just makes it look a little bit more authentic. And now I'm going to put you on pause one more time, dry these, and then we'll see how they look at the very end. Okie doke. This is how they look finished. Got a good coffee ring, some other edge stuff. You can see how that when the paper is warm from the iron and dry, how it soaks up and it leaves that ring, that darker ring. If your paper is warm, that's what you'll get. So if you want to do like a drops, but you want it to have that dark ring, then warm your paper with iron or something first and then drop it on it, and when it dries you'll get that dark ring where it stops. And so that's the other one. So you see what I mean? If just taking the back of your paper and just blotting wherever you've got a spillage or something, and it just looks like exactly what paper would have done, is, you know, draw up any liquid that was spilled on it or around it, or if it was laid on top of it. Now I didn't do this one, as you can see, but it doesn't mean I can't bring this back in. It's already dried here, but I got a little bit right here. So there's 2 spots, and actually I got a little bit of droplets in here, so I'm just going to push that down there. I'm going to make a big droplet. And then I will let me run my iron over it real quick. Dry it out. So look at that. Got some vintage spots on it as well. So this is today's project, just doing some printed vintage graphics on a piece of copy paper with some coffee ink in this case, or coffee bath, whichever you want to do, and make you some fake vintage documents. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in a video very soon.